Hey, it's Sham from Mountain One Products Stained Glass Studios. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble and solder this lovely Echeveria succulent. I'm going to be using this Lepinit 5-angle jig because it's freaking easier. They're available in the shop if you want one. Let's get started. First things first, mark off right above the V when your pieces are together like this with your marker. We're going to find out why later. Do it on all your pieces, all the bigs, all the mediums, and all the littles together. Well, the littles you don't have to, just the bigs and mediums. Anyway, flux both sides. We're going to tin, real light coating. This is not our final, but it's going to help when we go to do edge beading. Coat them off, flip them over. Do it a second time. And now we're ready to edge bead. Flux. Whee. Whee. We're just tinning these edges too. Make sure you don't have too much of a lumpy bumpies going on if you can. Want it nice and thin for your tinning. Flux again. One of my other secrets to a beautiful edge beading. And boom. Bloom. Connect the first bloom or second bloom to the first, third to the fourth, fourth to the third. I can't talk. Connect all your blooms. That's what we're doing. You can always go back over them if they're a little lumpy bumpy or sticking out one side a little bit too much. All right, check this out. Right now, you see I'm starting part way up. That's where that line comes into play. You're going to do that on all sides of your piece, of each piece. And that's when we go to assemble it. It's not going to be all big and weird. All of your bottom edges, like the bottom side edges, are all going to stick together where you need them to at the correct angles. If you screw up or you get a little bit of a little stalactite, stalagmite dude, more flux. That's almost always the problem when you get one of those sticky uppy dudes. You need a little bit more flux. If it's happening all the time, you might have to bump your iron up in the temp like a little bit. And grab the number 12 piece of the jig, and we're going to use that so that we can get the correct angle to line up our pieces. We don't want them like that. We don't want them like that. We want them like that on the correct angle. You can use foam bricks for this or a stack of coins. The jig just makes your life easier because all your angles are going to be super precise, so when you go to assemble, ta-da! As you can see, I slid that left-hand piece, slid it right to the corner. Top piece meets right up with it. And little tack. There's our first couple. Now we're doing a second couple. Now we're doing a thruple. And now we're doing a bunch of leaves together. Bloomp. Tack it again. And our last one here. You might have to squeeze it together just a little bit, and that's all right. If you really have to wrench it together, you probably didn't cut your pieces correctly. All right, here we go. Looks good. Everybody's at a decent angle. We only tacked because sometimes you got to do just a little bit of ruching, and that's all right. Tiny bit. If you're hulking, you're going to end up peeling your foil back, and you're going to have to start all over again. It's going to be a hot mess. And now we flip it over to the back, and you want to just fill in the gaps a little bit all the way around first on each seam, and then go back in and build up your beads and make them lovely. Flip it over, do it on the front. And I screwed up the edge bead there, so I'm just going in from the side and now from the top and fixing that. And here we are using the second of the Lepinit jig thingamajigers, and it is the number 9. Second set here, same as the first. And now we moved on to the number 4 for our last 3 little leaves. Set them aside. Now you want to set your second set of leaves inside of your first big set of leaves, and we're just going to tack them in there so that they'll stay put. And now come in from the rear, and we are getting that second set of leaves soldered in thoroughly to the first set of leaves. It doesn't have to be ridiculously beautiful in there. No one will ever see it. The most important part is that they're all soldered together well. That way it's structurally strong. That's the big thing in this particular area. And then you stick your first set of leaves in, tack them in, same as you did with the other guys. Little tack, little tack. And now we're going in from the rear again. And making sure third set of leaves, the little baby ones, are stuck to the second set of leaves. You don't have to fill in this whole entire big old hole. You're just attaching leaves to leaves to leaves to leaves. And as you can see, all the way deep down inside, it doesn't look beautiful, but again, no one is looking that far up its rear. It's strong. That's the good part. Now we're coming in from the top, and merp, merp. This part you do want to look cute because, well, it's on the top of your piece. It's also helping provide strength too. Some of that's going to drip on through. You don't want to stay in there for a million years. You could crack your glass, so go in a little bit. If you have to fix, or like you have a muff spot, you got to fix it. Just let it cool a little bit and come back in and attack it again. And here we have to get up this line here, and there. Give it a spin. Now what I'm doing is spin and pull, giving it a little make sure all those leaves are attached really strongly. There's no play in any of them. And now we're going to attach our wire. This is 12 gauge zinc coated steel. And you're going to want to use a larger, more normal human sized rosary pliers or round nose pliers to do this. I only have my tiny baby ones, and that was tough to do. And now I'm using my regular little pliers. Again, you want a bigger one. Because if I had a bigger one, I would have gotten that bend a little closer to that circle. But either way, this is going to work. Mirror, mirror, mirror. Lots of flux on both your piece and on that zinc-coated steel. If we're using regular steel, it wouldn't stick, but because it's zinc-coated, it does. And I have that, where to get all this stuff in my description. Merp. Merp. We're starting off by tacking, kind of filling in a little bit the gap that is going to exist right there. You see it? Between your solder line on your leaf and on your wire. You're going to want this to be super thoroughly attached to. Strength and durability, structural integrity is key in anything stained glass related, but particularly in something that may or may not be pulled out of a substrate material like a clay or foam or anything like that. It's going to get wrenched around and you don't want it breaking off. Now we just go through, kind of neaten these seams up a little bit. And let it cool. Give it a little spin. And look it, isn't that lovely? Good job, you're all done. Peace, love, and stained glass. Okay, bye.